I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan. I'm a doctor, but I'm also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. Right, so today's video is all about the best and worst viral skincare products for 2021 and whether or not they're suitable for skin of color. So what I basically did was went on to cultbeauty.com and I looked at their trending products and let me just move the camera a little bit. Went on to their trending products to see which ones, were doing really well. And actually the results were quite surprising. And so I thought this video was definitely worth doing because if they're viral, it means that a lot of our skin of color family are using these products. And as you know, skin of color behaves very differently to Caucasian skin. Skin of color reacts quickly. We have large melanocytes, those are cells that produce the pigment melanin. Those cells are easily triggered. As I always say, one scratch, one bite, or one burn, and we hyperpigment. And so we have to be a lot more careful with our skincare and what we put on our skin. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, please do. I've got two accounts, Skincare by Dr. V and Dr. Vanita Rattan. You can follow me on TikTok as well, which is Dr. Vanita Rattan. And also, please don't forget to hit the notification bell on YouTube too, because I'm in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every single video. So I'm basically live to answer your questions. So please do make use of that facility. All right, so if you like the idea of going through viral videos, viral products, whether or not they're good for you, give me a thumbs up. Let's dive right in. Okay, so let's start off with the first product, and that's the Ordinary 30% AHA and BHA 2%. This product is still going strong. It's quite surprising. So it's basically glycolic acid 30%, a tiny bit of lactic acid, approximately 1%, and of course BHA salicylic acid 2%. It's basically the Ordinary product that's in a red solution in the pipette. It's instantly recognizable. Now, the first thing I'd say, I'm going to talk about the pros first, and it's a NAFE-safe product. That means no denatured alcohol, no fragrance, and no essential oils. These are 3 no's for skin of color. The reason being that for skin of color, because our skin reacts so quickly, we don't want to do anything that's going to irritate it. Now, when you use denatured alcohol, it is basically volatile. It evaporates from the skin and water evaporates from your skin too. Already, skin of color has less ceramides than Caucasian skin, and so our skin is already naturally drier. So really, we want to avoid denatured alcohol if we can. Fragrance is a #1 cause of contact dermatitis. A lot of people are going to be fine with fragrance, but for me, because I'm dealing specifically with skin of color, when we get irritation or contact dermatitis, it leads to a rash. A rash leads to hyperpigmentation, and actually for us, the pigmentation can last for years. It's not even the initial redness or rash, it's the hyperpigmentation, which is why I'm a lot more strict with skincare for skin of color than I would be for Caucasian skin. And then of course, essential oils. Essential oils are skin sensitizers. Unfortunately, a lot of marketing happens on essential oils, like, oh, it has lavender oil and it smells so good. But actually, it's that fragrant part of the oil that sensitizes your skin. A lot of these marketing companies rely on smell for you to become addicted to a product and to keep wanting to purchase that product, because that smell then becomes almost nostalgic. It forms part of your routine. But the reason I want to educate on this is because I want to break that habit. You do not want your skincare to smell really of anything other than the ingredients that are in it, because what's the point of putting something on your skin that's going to irritate your skin? It just makes no sense. It's better to do nothing. These are positives with this particular product. It's a NAFE-safe product. However, they have a high percentage of glycolic acid. Now, glycolic acid is my least favorite AHA for skin of color, especially at high concentrations. I say if you want to use glycolic acid, use it at 5% or less, because it's a tiny molecule and can fly through the skin, leading to hot spots where you get hyperpigmentation in localized areas. And so at higher concentrations, this is more likely to happen, and I would just avoid it for skin of color. There are better AHAs for skin of color, such as lactic acid and mandelic acid. They're a lot more gentle. They do a similar thing. They just exfoliate the top layer of skin, but without that, irritation and inflammation that can happen. So I don't like the fact that it's such a high percentage of glycolic acid because of the potential of burning. And unfortunately, you also see the feedback on this particular product. If you have skin of color, the burn and the pigmentation left behind after just are not worth it. So please avoid this product. So the second product, which is viral, is the Inkey Retinol 1%. Now, again, I love the fact it's a safe product. So again, no denatured alcohol, no fragrance, no essential oils. But 1% retinol tends to be too high for skin of color because it can lead to flaking and sensitivity. Most of us do go through this retinization period where you do have this flaking. But the problem is for us, the flaking and the sensitivity means that any other ingredient that you put on the skin can damage the skin barrier, lead to irritation and long-term hyperpigmentation. So for us, I always recommend 0.5% retinol, and that's the reason I would avoid this particular product. Okay, so moving on to the next product, which I get asked a lot about, and I'm glad I finally get to talk about it, and it's the Ordinary 10% argireline solution. People call this Botox in a bottle, which is probably the reason it went viral. And so again, I love that it's a safe product. This is basically acetylhexapeptide 8. It's a neurotransmitter. It's a neurotransmitter inhibiting peptide, and people think that it stops wrinkles from developing. The thing is, it's a synthetically derived product, but it only sits in the epidermis. It doesn't reach the dermis, which is where wrinkles develop. So it's never going to be more effective than injectables. I think it's a fantastic first step for your anti-aging routine. I love this product and I would recommend it. But if you think it's going to, be on par with Botox, it isn't. They're two completely different products. One thing I would say with this product is you have better penetration of the active when the skin is damp. And that's why I love toning the skin first. You want a hydrating toner that is soothing, non-irritating, has no denatured alcohol in it, no fragrance in it, but basically soothes the skin, dampens the skin so you get better penetration of the next layer. So this is basically the Dr. Vanita Rattan Super Hydrating Toner. This is the one that I use. This is from my range. And you're basically using it morning and night before your actives to improve penetration of actives. The next ingredient I've seen a lot of, and this is succinic acid blemish treatment from The Ordinary. And it's a very odd formula. If you turn over, a lot of you now know how to read the ingredients list. After you've watched 10 of my videos, you really should be able to read at least half the ingredients list. And this is going to shock you. So imagine this product basically was formulated for acne prone skin. So as a formulator, immediately I'm thinking, okay, make sure I'm using ingredients that are gel-based, water-based, light, non-comedogenic. You're trying to avoid fats actually in a product that's for acne-prone skin. So these are the ingredients, and immediately you're going to think like, what were they thinking? So the third ingredient here is glycerol stearate SE. That's 3 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. That's the third ingredient. That means it's quite high up on the ingredients list. The fourth ingredient here is stearic acid, which is 2 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. Then the fifth ingredient here is cetyl alcohol, which is 2 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. And then the sixth ingredient here is colloid sulfur, which is 3 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. So none of that for me makes sense. The eighth ingredient here is succinic acid, which means it's at a very low percentage. And the 10th ingredient after succinic acid is salicylic acid at about 1%. But this is the only active in this product. This is basically a bright green cream with 1% salicylic acid in it. And that's the way you want to look at it, because there are no other actives in this product. And this is also what I want to teach you. This bright green color that you see on TikTok and Instagram, and people are drawing Christmas trees with the bright green paste on their face, that makes you feel like, I want to do that too. It's an exciting, novel thing that you want to put on your own face. And this is really how marketing evolves. This is how these billion-dollar companies take your money, is because they make you believe just by the color or the smell or the feel that something is working. So for example, has any of you, I don't know if any of you have tried the vitamin C body exfoliator from the Body Shop, where you literally rub it and you see your skin coming off. That's not skin, that's carbomer. It's literally a polymer that they specifically put into the bottle to give you that peeling effect, but it's a gimmick. It's something that I could then put on TikTok and be like, oh wow, it works, look how bright my skin looks, and 1 million people will go and buy it. So this is basically what this whole channel is about, is to make sure that I'm hopefully picking out all of these little tips and tricks that these billion-dollar companies are using in order to take your money. And that just really, we need to put an end to that. So that's why I want you to be educated and empowered when it comes to your skincare, to be able to read the ingredients. You don't even need me anymore. You should be able to read the ingredients and say, yes, that's worth my money, and no, that's not worth my money. Okay, so the next product is viral, and this is the Glow Recipe Watermelon PHA BHA Pore Tight Toner. It's a really long sentence, but let's go through the ingredients list. So the first ingredient here is a Pantia ficus, which is actually a brilliant ingredient. It comes from prickly pear and it's full of antioxidants. It's non-irritating, has amino acids in it, it's hydrating, and it mops up free radicals. So it's a fantastic A1 ingredient. I love it. The second ingredient here is glycerin and then hyaluronic acid, which are both water magnets. They're humectants, so they hold water in the top layer of skin, which is wonderful too. The fourth ingredient is water. So that means that it's quite it's a thicker, gloopier formula than if water was number one. If water was number one, to come out more of a cream. And I think it's that thick gloopiness that people love. They love the texture of it. And this is part of rheology when it comes to cosmetic science, is how does it feel? How does it make people feel on their skin? Then the fifth ingredient here is gluconolactone exfoliator, which again, I love. But they were so close, and I was ready to purchase it until I saw limonene and perfume. So they've added fragrance to this product. And it's such a shame, because the product, and many of the products are so good, but unfortunately 99% of the products on the market have fragrance in them. So we're literally playing with the 1% that don't have fragrance, that are safe for us to use. And when I say that, I mean, a lot of people are going to be fine with fragrance, but for me, imagine we've had 30-40 million people watch this channel to date. When there's a 3 to 4% chance of getting contact dermatitis from using fragrance over a long period of time, for me, that's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people now getting contact dermatitis based on the information that I'm giving. So for me, I'm always going to play it safe and work in the best interests of our Skin of Color family. So for me, this one, unfortunately, is a no. Hopefully they'll come up with a fragrance-free version and I will absolutely be the first person to buy it. But the way it is right now, it's a no. The next one is Peace Out Acne. So these are great actually. These are hydrocolloid patches with salicylic acid plus vitamin A. So I love them and I would purchase them and I'd recommend them. So salicylic acid is fat soluble acid. It goes in deep into the pore to unclog it, and vitamin A increases your cell turnover. Don't forget, when you have acne, your skin cells become sticky and it basically clogs the top of the pore, and that's what then forms a pimple. What you want to do is increase that cell turnover so there's less chance of that sticky cells blocking the pore. So this one is a Dr. V approved product. As you know, none of my videos have ever been sponsored and they will never be sponsored. So any recommendations I give you are purely evidence-based information, and this is your video library for our Skin of Color family. So I think that's important, because unfortunately there just isn't enough information for us. The next one is Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream Crystal Elixir. Okay, so let's go through the ingredients list. The second ingredient here is niacinamide, which I love. Then they use glycerin as a humectant, which I love, but they added a ton of fragrance. And the tricky little thing they do is they don't say the word fragrance. They use these words, so watch out for these words. This one, they actually wrote fragrance, but they also wrote limonene, geraniol, citronellol, linalool, and citral. These are all names of fragrances that you want to avoid. So this is why it's so important to be empowered, because it's not always that straightforward what they're writing at the back. You need to know what category of ingredient each one falls into. If you want a little bit of help with how to read ingredients list, please do watch my video on how to read ingredients list. And I go through how to group ingredients into categories, and it makes it, within seconds, you're able to look at the back and see what there is and whether it's effective or not. The next product I've seen a lot actually on TikTok. By the way, I'm a bit bunged up, and so that's why I'm like constantly drinking and I sound a bit bunged up as well. But side note, okay, so this is the Cicapair Tiger Grass Color Corrector. I like it for those without acne. Okay, so the sixth ingredient here is ethyl hexyl palmitate, which is 4 out of the 5 on the comedogenic scale. Then they use octocyanidin decanol, which is 3 out of 5 on the comedogenic scale. The third ingredient here is titanium dioxide, which I love, and that's what gives it the color. Niacinamide they use, which I love. Panthenol, I love. Iron oxide, they use black and yellow, again, in order to color correct. That's basically what you're doing, is you're camouflaging the redness. It's not as if it's treating it. It's just like it's color corrector. So again, I love this product. Purchase it if you don't have acne. It is true that, you can have comedogenic ingredients in a product and it to be non-comedogenic, depending on how it's been formulated. But honestly, I just think avoid any potential ingredients that could clog your pores, because for us, once we get our pores clogged, it's not a quick thing to get it treated, because we're left with the dark marks later. And so this is why I'm extra cautious with acne for skin of color. Don't forget to follow, join our private Facebook group and join our Skin of Color community. So it's called Dr. V Sock Family. It's a new Facebook group and there are some questions you need to answer to get in. But it's a fantastic safe space for you to ask your questions, show photos and get feedback, because we're all going through the same journey. So please do join that. Please do follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Don't forget to download your free guide for Skin of Color down below too. I have a huge announcement I'm making on the 9th of November. So make sure, you're around to hear that, because it's going to be big for our Skin of Color family. It's going to revolutionize skincare for our Skin of Color family globally. And I've managed to keep this a secret for a whole year and I'm bursting and aching to tell you. So just make sure you write in your diaries, 9th of November, Dr. V has something big to say. So I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.